Cerebral, vulnerable narcissists, they get antsy and they will get to the point where they're not satisfied with the status quo of any of their relationships. They're constantly on the lookout for, if it's a friend or a romantic, but especially a friend, because for some reason, romantically, they end up getting caught up with the grandiose cerebral narcissist. If it's a friend, they're constantly on the lookout for someone else to level up. They want a clone of you and then maybe add a little bit else, another little concoction or cocktail to it. So if they want you, but then they want the socially elite side along with the cerebral knowledge side of wisdom, right? And so, but then they might even come to you and say, you know what? And this is where, as you look back and as you heal, you'll start to think to yourself, what was going on with me that I didn't even say anything about this? It'll leave you feeling some kind of way. Well, you know what? I became friends with Sally, and, you know, she seemed like she was everything that you were, except for, you know, me and Sally, we couldn't seem to really talk about spiritual things like I do with you. And then you're sitting there and you're feeling like something is off, that you can't put your finger on it, but you know what they're saying to you is not right. And it's like, okay, first of all, there was no filter in your brain for you to come to me and tell me this. And then secondly, it have you feeling some kind of way because you start to think to yourself, okay, so what I had been thinking all along was correct. I have not heard from you for a month and a half, and Sally became your new trophy. But now you're telling me I'm coming. So all of a sudden I'm hearing from you again. You're telling me that Sally had everything I had except for they got a social elite side, but they still don't have the spiritual side. So now you're coming back to me. And so this will be the excuse over time after time after time. This will be the excuse. And what will happen is that month and a half of not hearing from them will often turn into 3 months of not hearing from them. And then I'm calling you and saying, you know what, I'm sorry I haven't been a good friend. And then you go back to everything like a status quo, nothing ever happened. And then those 3 months will turn into 6 months. And then they'll call you and say, sorry, I haven't been a good friend. And then you go right back to the way that it was again. And then the 6 months will turn into a year. And then they'll call you back. Sorry, I haven't been a good friend. And then you just pick right back up where you left off at. And then it gets to the point where if you've got enough self-work done that you realize that this is just not where I want to be. This is not who I want to be with. This is not how I want to represent myself in and out of relationships where people don't value me. They keep calling and saying that they're sorry and they're not making any changes. And so what will happen towards, you'll know that the relationship is basically over when it's been so long you've not heard from them.